This is the Blank Dive Show. For creators who don't wait for clarity, they move anyway. This isn't about perfection. It's pressure, doubt, deadlines, and building something real with limited resources. It's about momentum when motivation runs out, mindset when the noise gets loud, and making the work, especially when it's uncomfortable. Through raw conversations with filmmakers, writers, musicians, artists, and curators, we talk about showing up, breaking barriers, and turning ideas into action. This is the dive into the unknown, no permission, no safety net, just the work.
Yo, yo.
What's up, y'all?
Episode 8, guys. Can you believe
Are
it? Can you
here.
believe it?
Woo.
Absolutely.
How's you guys doing tonight?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite splendid. You know why? Because we made it to 8 of these bad boys, and I'm very excited about tonight's episode.
Absolutely.
Many hats.
I like
As
that.
an artist, I know many people can relate to wearing many, many hats.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a crazy thing that we do. Just summing up my summer in a nutshell, it was a wild train ride. I had to learn how to do many things I wasn't comfortable doing in order to stretch my resources. I know a few episodes back we talked about, limited resources and, being able to do stuff with limited resources. So in this episode, we're going to talk about all the different things creative people do in order to stretch those resources. And how you guys feeling about that?
Good, good, man. Let's
Pretty
roll.
good.
Pretty excited about this one.
Yeah. So like when you're thinking about multiple hats, what comes to mind?
I mean, for me, it's music. I mean, first thing that comes to mind is music. With limited budgets and just trying to make it in any, form of art when it comes to music, you got to, learn how to be everything. You got to be the engineer, you got to be the beat maker, the mixer, the marketer. It got its ups and its downs, obviously, because it's a big learning experience. And you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I made tons of mistakes. My last album, the Deacon album, I released the album, and I'm mixing and all this, and I don't have somebody else sitting over me, critiquing me and telling me, hey, look, this don't sound right, and this is messed up. And there was a lot of that, to be honest. I put it together the best I knew how at the time, but without realizing one of my features on the album was missing. You send people the music and they put their lyrics on it, and then they send it back to you, and it wasn't there. So when I put it on the album, I was missing his verse on the album. So it was me, a blank space, and then back to me again to finish the song. I felt horrible about it, and then I was sending people the actual song with his lyrics on it. It was terrible, man. But it's a lot of learning experiences, to be honest.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because if you're doing let's say a comic book or something like that, and you're doing it independently, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make it on my own, you could hire someone to do the drawing or the writing if you're a good drawer, but sometimes a lot of people have to go and do both. They have to draw every page, and then they have to write for each and every page, and then after that you have to market it to people.
Yeah.
Which sometimes people don't do, or they don't do it really well because they didn't study it. But
Yeah.
where I agree on a lot is you start to learn different assets from doing it yourself, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
cool. It's an incredible journey.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with that. I mean, that's what the big thing is there is going to be mistakes along the way, but there's also things that I'm passionate about and I'm not. For so many years, I really enjoy the creative aspect of making stuff. But when it comes to like the business side of things, people say that I'm a good promoter, and maybe I am, but at the same time, it's not that enjoyable to push your work constantly. I tell this to Danny all the time. I'm like, listen, we're, pushing a video or a podcast or whatever it may be. You know what really sucks is like reaching out to all your friends and family and constantly, constantly pushing your stuff on socials. Like, hey, I got a new video out. I got a new trailer out. I got a new podcast episode out.
Yeah.
It becomes like, I don't want people to start muting me. Like, God damn, like stop sharing shit to my wall. Like, I felt that way with people before, and I find myself doing the same thing I hate. I'm like, like I'm that guy.
I've had people reach out to me and tell me to stop doing it. I've had people reach out to me and tell me, hey, could you stop sending me stuff? I love what you do, but it's not for me. Like, man.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, and I understand it, because even for myself, like when I'm sharing my own content to my own wall, I'm the type of person where I like all my wall to look a certain way, like it's my wall, I guess. And I find myself, man, there's too much of this content on there, and it's a part of promoting. You got to do what you got to do, even if it's one person you can get to reach out to your work. It's a part of the process, whether you like it or not. And going with that multiple hats, I found this summer, we were talking about this summer with the production Where the High Ends, I needed to save some money. Money was going left, right, and sideways. And, in all my productions, I wear the title as a director and writer and producer. Those are three vastly separate titles with vastly separate skills. However, sometimes my budget doesn't allot for me to have a caterer on set. So I found myself cooking prior to productions. Large trays of ziti or lasagnas or
it's always
empanadas
good.
And it's great, but you know what kind of pressure it is to feed a cast and crew like 20-something people to make sure that their diets are met properly while you still got to direct this at the end of the day. And then I was also behind rehearsals and scouting locations. So like during the work week, I was like going after work to like locations, like, hey, I gotta see like if this is gonna work for the movie. And all those things, though, they're not my favorite thing to do, I was in control of where we were filming and how it was done and what food was being ate. So there was that empowering stance I had, but at the same time, I also felt like, damn, can I do all this and still do well? That's my big question. Do you really? Is it possible to master it all? I don't know.
I don't know if it's possible to master all of it. But you seem to make it work. Like I've learned that on your sets. Period. I learned that when I was on with the Savior. I mean, I went on there, and I think first week there was a mixer. Now I'm not good with people at all. Like I'm not good around crowds, so I had to learn to be good around people. And then I think it was one of your events where I was the photographer. So now I'm not good around people, and now I'm a photographer, and I'm trying to get people to smile and laugh, and I'm doing all these things that I'm not typically good at. And then it's acting. I never acted a day in my life. Now I'm acting. So now I'm with these people and I'm acting, but it all came out great at the end. You know what I mean? So it was like that experience of being able to do it and just taking that step out of your comfort zone almost, and becoming good at something you're typically not good at, and making it work, and really making the best out of it, I guess. That's the best I could say about that, because I've learned a lot.
You got to be comfortable with it, but you also got to be willing to take a chance. And that's really what it's all about, because if you're not willing to take a chance wearing multiple hats, I don't even advise it to the worst of my enemies.
It's hard.
It's tough. You know, like you're going to embark on all these new challenges, and you may fail at most of them. You know, like there's a lot of things, like even on a production end, that I worried about. Like, I love acting. You know, one of the main reasons I make films is because I'm so passionate about acting within them. But with that said, there was times where I envied the actors on set, not because they were so skilled and amazing, but because all they had to focus on was their craft. You know, like the main actors of the production, they could get the set on time and know that all I have to worry about is giving the best I can in this performance, and there's nothing else that matters. Yeah, they have their personal problems just like everyone else, but when you wear multiple hats, there's other things you're responsible for. Like, for example, I'm still an actor just like they are on set, but I also have to make sure people arrive to set like extras. And I have to make sure that the location's okay, people aren't damaging things, that people are going to be fed. You know, because I also put people in different roles that I trust. Like Benny wore a million hats too on that same production. So like I put people in roles that I also trust, but these are all like a big balancing act at the end of the day. And it, you know, like that type of stuff kept me up at night. Like I would sit there and I should be like studying my lines. I should be like one step ahead of the curve. And I was thinking about like, wait a minute, did I order that prop that I needed? Like my character chain smoked throughout the film. I smoked tons of cigarettes, which by the way, for those of you out there, I'd rather smoke real cigarettes than the bullshit herbal ones that I got offline. I don't know what that was, potpourri. I was smoking. I was probably smoking dust. I don't know. I was smoking ancestors on that shit. I was fucking tripping. Lungs were closing up. But either way, I'm telling you right now, I was thinking about everything I shouldn't have been thinking about because I had to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Balance it, and that's the problem with wearing multiple hats on a production. But you do have to make it work. You know,
it's there's negatives and positives. The positives, we learn different things, and you don't have to put your trust in someone else to get something done. But another negative, because you already went over some, is that I forgot. Another negative was, I'm sorry, I forgot.
It's all
I
good.
forgot.
Shit happened.
Yeah.
One of those things, you know, it's a Monday night. But listen, you know, like there is something to that. I think a lot of people, and I've been on productions, and I've say what you gotta say because I'll remember.
Sorry, it's you. I get bored, so I love doing it. But at the same time, since you're wearing multiple hats, you can't concentrate on one thing. Like if somebody gets hurt, I'm over here going to pick up the food or something like that. You know what I'm saying? If a camera thing breaks or something like that, and I might have been the one that did it. Not saying I broke anyone's equipment, but I'm just saying if it happens, I might not remember in the moment or the second. Like I don't know. I'm doing a lot, and then I have more to do on top of that. So there's negatives and then there's positives.
Yeah, I think it's like if you're going to get the job done and you're going to do it well, there's a great, you know, you'll get a great reward in the end. Yeah. But I also do think that there is a lot of people out there in the creative circles that have a really, really big ego. And they wear multiple hats, maybe not even because of resources, but just because they don't want other people touching their baby, their trust in their project. So in doing that, they create a lot of animosity. And like, you ever been to like a hostile work environment?
Yeah.
You work with some, you know, you work with the people that like, it's my way or the highway. And it's like, bro, I know you want to wear 50 hats, bro, but why don't you give one of those hats to me? I'm balding here. All right. Give me one of those hats. Bring it to me. Because sometimes you can actually help them out of their stress and they won't allow it.
It won't take it.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude, like take my help because I know how to do it. And I actually saw some friction in a few productions of mine where there was very talented people there that were capable of making things go faster, like greasing the wheel and making things go like smoother. But the person with the higher title was like, nah, it's my way. I know what I'm doing. And shit slowed down to a halt. And all of you know, time is money.
Yeah.
And it's not just beyond production in any sort of way. Like for me, I use editors with my books, and I'll send my books to editors. But prior to sending it to the editor, I want to make sure that I have the cleanest version of my story that I could tell prior to them touching it. So I go through the whole process of editing as well to try to cut the workload, cut the time down. Because, yeah, I'm not an editor when it comes to that, but I also know that if they got a lot more work to do in the end, it's going to cost me a whole lot more money. So I want to make sure that they get a more polished craft. And that's the same thing. I don't know. There's so many ways that it can go, but I've tend to bump into a lot of creators who they don't want to give up their babies in a way. And it's like, dude, you gotta human beings can be resources. So that's why it's always good to like know what kind of assets you have on your team to, you know, it could be family members. You might be an indie artist to the truth of it, but you might have a family member that's really good with social media, or they're really good with branding. Like they make great t-shirts or whatever, but you know, hey, this could help push my brand.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Anything to take it off your shoulders just a little bit. I don't know.
Supporters are like, I've always found my supporters like are great for that. You know, they're a great like marketing team of people. It's people that support you. You know, just like you know, just different things. You know, it's like, you know, I work on music, and I have another podcast, and then this podcast we do, and it's difficult at times because you're kind of juggling. You know what I mean? You're trying to do all these different things, you know, and you get criticized as well. You know, because my other podcast is completely different than this one, but I think people, they look at me for my other podcast as if that's my whole entire existence. But realistically, I love art as well. I love, you know, art, and I love, you know, movies and creating music. And you know, my other podcast talks about my personal struggles in my life, you know. And I think a lot of people, and I've actually had people reach out to me and talking about that, like, yo, what happened to this? You know, it's almost like it's a double standard. Like, you know, you're doing this over here, but you're not doing it over here. And at the same time, it's like, but I'm doing what I love to do. Like, I love all these things, you know. And I don't know, it just, it definitely has its ups and its downs, you know. It kind of, you know, it struggles with it, you know, just trying to balance all of it as well, you know.
That's what it is. There's a balance, but people got to also understand there's so many different sides to people. And I think for many generations, you know, men would go to work, right? They'd work a job their whole life to retire. They would support their families, and they would never question happiness or what they wanted to do with their lives. They would just kind of put in this block forever. And I think we're getting to the time period now where people are getting more savvy. Like they're quitting jobs that they're unhappy in. They're saying screw the system because the system isn't supporting us. But they're also like, you know, life is short. Why not try new things? And like, I feel like this generation gets a lot of criticism. It does, like, oh, this woke generation, this, but the one thing I give them is like, they aren't. Everyone calls them lazy, and they're this and that. Think about all the stuff that they have in their vicinity now to create things, and they're working towards. There's a lot of stuff that they're doing that you know, the older generations maybe not. They don't understand. Not saying they didn't have their own challenges, but you know what I mean? Like when it comes to those different sides of people, I think now people are starting to show you can do multiple things. You know,
Absolutely.
that whole idea you could be a jack of all trades, a master of none. Maybe you can master a few of those trades.
Oh
you know?
I mean, you gotta.
It seems like in a way they're less afraid of putting themselves out there and going out there and doing things. Almost like, because when we were coming up, it seemed like we had to go through like a process or a formula, and they were just like, "No, I'm not doing that no more. I'm just going for it," and then
Oh yeah.
good results a lot of the time. But it could be intimidating to ask sometimes. Like, I want to ask for help. I want to ask for advice. Or on the other end, say you're the production manager or higher up, it could be hard to ask other people, "Hey, could you help me with this?" It could be really intimidating.
We're like just talking about that, jumping into that a little bit. You know, on the set of Where the High Ends, right? You took on the role, a production manager, and you were out there, you know, working hands-on with actors and PA and whatever other titles you held in the production. Did you find that intimidating to like, listen, I'm now part of this management process of this film? You know, like I'm one of the, you know, I'm still one of you guys, but at the same time, I'm here to make things go faster.
Yeah.
You're working, you know what I mean? Did you find that intimidating?
Yeah. There was, at first when we first started, it was really intimidating. But once we started going day after day, like at least, I don't know, 4 days of filming, I started to understand more my role, even though I looked it up and I didn't get it completely right. But I understood what is that basic thing, like help things go smoothly. And when you're trying to work with other people and you're the manager, I didn't want to be the guy that was like, "You can't do this," like that. I wanted to be somewhere in the middle of strict and loose. Like, "Hey, we could try that," or I'll go ask and see if we could do something like that and try to
if you want to know what Benny was like on set, he would walk up to you and be like, he wouldn't tell you outright, "Hey, you're way over fucking time." He'd walk up to you and be like, "Do you think we need to do that right now? You think we got time for that, really?"
I tried to do it.
We didn't have lunch yet, and it's like 3:00. You think we got time for that? Like that's Benny's approach, but it worked. I mean, we got the project done, so it did work. But I find that incredibly challenging to pick up. There's a lot that rides on it. In the beginning of doing films, I never had to worry about locations. Someone else would do that entirely, and I would just arrive. This time, I had to contact business owners and meet with them privately, discuss their insurance requirements, do all this like paperwork, and barter with them, like what I'm going to do for you if you do this for me. And it was exciting to get it done, but I really wish that was one of those things that I did put on my plate that I wish I didn't have to. I would give that to a professional in a heartbeat because I like the creative stuff. If I told you, "Hey, I need a bank for a scene, location scout, find me a bank," I would be okay giving that one away. You know, I'd be okay with the whole food thing, not cook it anymore. But like I said, you do what you do on independent productions to make it happen. And, you know, it's tough because my biggest fear is resenting whatever project I'm working on because I'm completely burnt out. Or what if all these different hats I'm wearing is actually creating an issue where the quality begins to suffer? Have you guys ever done that where like you've overdone it and you're like, "I fucked this whole thing up because I did too much myself"?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my second up. That the what was it? The Torn Pages project that I did, the last one. I felt like that. Yeah, I did. I just felt like I took a quick leap at it and I just jumped at it and it just didn't come out everything. I mean, from top to bottom, the promotion part of it, I didn't promote it properly. I can't say the quality. Quality was okay, but I just tried a lot in that second album that I didn't like the first album. I kind of look at it like the whole many hats thing is life. We all wear many hats every single day, you know. I think since the moment we wake up to the time we come back home to our girlfriends, wives, families, whatever, we're wearing different hats, you know. We're fathers, mothers, you know, we're workers, bosses in some aspects. and we're just always wearing these different hats throughout our life, it seems. So yeah, I've screwed up many times with many projects, you know.
I just like this one, I guess the quote of the episode should be, just because you can do everything,
Yeah.
should you?
Nope.
You know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point. Just because you can do it, should you do it? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, you ever been to the buffet and it's all there in front of you, and you just got to put it all on that fucking plate. I mean, you can go back for seconds,
Yeah.
but you know half that stuff you're not going to eat. You can do
Yeah.
it, but should you?
Yeah.
That's like kind of like, I want to say that's what the episode really, ultimately, the many hats, like, because like, yeah, there's moderation of, I think, what we can put on our plate and what we should
Yeah.
do.
And it becomes overwhelming at times, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Very overwhelming.
So anyways, we're like at the 26 minute mark. I think we need to bring in this guest. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest tonight, guys. You know,
Yay.
and without any further ado, let's bring her on out. All right.
Let's go.
Let's bring her on out.
Hello.
Yo, yo.
Hi.
Hey.
How is everyone?
Good.
How you doing?
I'm doing
Hi.
good. I was just
Fine.
listening into the episode about the many hats, which
Okay.
we all take on. I don't know anyone out there who doesn't know me. My name is Lisa Marie, and I've worked in the industry with everybody on the call here for many years. So I've worked on
years.
many years, a decade or so, even though I'm very young, but still a decade. And yeah, I've worked in the film festivals, doing makeup, casting, doing many different things. So, and like Charles says, many hats, many layers. I'm like a good lasagna with many layers, not an onion, because everybody likes lasagna.
I love onions too. I mean, onions are delicious.
I'm allergic.
So yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
long time coming, Lisa. I mean, we've it's got to been over a decade or so. We've been working together. I want to say from my second project Savior.
Yeah.
I've also worked with you on, I think, Hudson Valley International Film Festival and the Catskill International Film Festival.
Yep.
You were part of our committee. You were doing everything from interviews on the red carpet to, you know, doing photo shoots with people and promotional stuff and acting in the films. And it's just been a wild ride.
Investigating, finding lost necklaces in a field amongst lots of grass.
It's a crazy thing when you're on an independent production, and you know, like, what do you find most challenging? Like, okay, so like your main thing, your main bread and butter on a production, other than an actress, is makeup, correct? So what do you find most challenging about that in itself, by itself?
Well, there's a few type of different people. You have people that come to set heavily with makeup. That splits too, because some people really know how to do their makeup really well, which could then make it challenging for you as a makeup artist. And then there's people that maybe don't know how to do their makeup as well, but they're stuck in their ways with certain colors and certain direction of their look. So you have to kind of find like a balance to give them like direction and like put on makeup on them and make sure that they feel comfortable with what you're doing, not just what you feel looks best.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
And do you, like, with that said, like, do you ever run into conflict with people who say, I know what looks good on me?
oh, of course.
But-
Or like, oh, I don't like that shade. Oh, can you put a little more? Could you do a little this? And like, it depends on also the scene that they're filming. Like, for example, we had someone being a dead body. We had people being in party scenes, different scenes. You don't want someone in the party scene to be too bedazzled, and then maybe the main character is more natural. Like, you have to kind of find like a good balance between what we're filming and how they stand out in the scene as well. And we don't
Yeah.
just do makeup for women, we do men's makeup, everybody's makeup. Actually, Benny, we did some prosthetics of some scars and some bruises on everyone, and then Charles was very bloody in the last movie. So we were literally pouring blood on top of him and using, of course, the setting spray. We got to give a shout out to the setting spray that everybody got on their face. Even though setting spray and calming spray may not do absolutely anything, but if it makes you think it does, then why not?
Mind over matter. It's like the placebo effect.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
So when you're wearing multiple hats on these productions, I mean, the last production, Where the High Ends, you talked a little bit about it. And you were everything from assistant casting director, makeup artist, hairstylist, wardrobe, intimacy coordinator. You basically fit in wherever our production needed it. It wasn't because you weren't able to do it. You were eager to do it, but at the same time, what did you find most challenging? Like, what's one of those roles you're like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to do this. This might.
Yeah. So I first like to think of myself as like a puzzle piece. I like to be the missing piece along a set, or even in daily life. If I go to like a friend's party and I'm doing decorations or I'm helping out, I like to help out anywhere I can. Like if I'm doing a wedding and the bride like knocks the buttons off of her dress, I'll sew the buttons back on. So I'm very like you said earlier, jack of all trades or Jill of all trades, master of none. But I like to master as best I can. In the last film, I would say like probably an intimacy coordinator was probably the most difficult, because you're in the room with sometimes people that are either very comfortable, too comfortable, or not comfortable at all. So you have to get them to feel comfortable. And there were different scenes and different people on set that I'm a people person, so I can talk to anybody. A wall. If somebody really doesn't like to talk, I can make them talk to me, because I like to like learn everything about somebody. Because there's always like, I know there's people that will be like, oh, that person's so boring, they're not interesting. And it's like, that's not true at all. Everybody's interesting in their own way. It's just you have to like get them to open their shell a little bit to like learn about them, so then you can find their interest. And 9 out of 10 times there's something that matches your interest. Like when I first started in the industry, I had interned for Cablevision, like doing day-to-day stuff, you know, an intern, doing whatever they asked me to. And the guy that was running the location was like very dry, quiet. They were like, oh, he doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't talk to anybody. So I'm like, oh, okay. Challenge accepted. So like the first day I'm like there, I go into his office to introduce myself, and I immediately see like he has some racehorse pictures. And I love racehorses. I love a little gambling. My grandpa loved racehorses. So I start talking about racehorses. Meanwhile, he starts opening up being like, oh, I have a racehorse. We have a whole conversation. And then from that point on, he was always nice to me, like, and then would send me out on other like sets or send me to the parades to do interviewing and things that maybe if I didn't crack his shell a little bit, I would have just been doing more like stuff in the office that wouldn't have been as exciting.
Well,
so it's like about not holding yourself back.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point of view there. Honestly,
what are some of the mistakes you've made throughout your career that you've learned from that have made you a better artist today?
I don't make any mistakes.
Come on, we all do.
So, well, in the point of doing for makeup always bring makeup remover, because there are times where you'll put too much bronzer or too much of something, and then if the lighting is not good and then the person goes outside, you're like, oh, okay, we got to take some of this off.
Shave it off.
Yeah, acting, I would say the biggest mistake is your own self while you're acting, of making yourself overly think about a scene, even though you know all the lines, you know the scene, you know everyone on set, but being your worst enemy of like getting yourself more nervous, which then overall affects your performance, because you know you can go out there and do the role perfectly, but maybe that day you got so in your head and then nobody else sees it. You're the only person that sees it.
Yeah.
So I would say
Yeah.
like that's my biggest mistake, I would say, that I've done like more recently, which I never did before, but it's like you have to kind of just say
I
who
think a lot of
cares?
times with film, I mean, maybe I'm just speaking out of turn, but I think a
Mhm.
lot of things with film is people are like, well, it's film. I have multiple takes,
Yeah.
because these same actors or actresses will go on stage and they'll improv or they'll do the performance brilliantly, and then they'll step in front of the camera and they'll be like, they'll freeze up or they'll make a simple mistake and they're like, oh, well, I'll just do it again. Or
Oh
it's
no.
actually more pressure sometimes
Mhm.
because of that idea that it can be discarded, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, oh, we got 10 options to make it perfect. Because sometimes imperfection is actually perfection. If you go up
Yeah.
there and stumble, like a lot of the main, like we watch a movie, a lot of those Oscar winning performances, a lot of that stuff is improv at times because the actor forgot his lines.
Yeah.
He just went off the dome and ripped it and showed his ass, and it might not have been what the director wanted at all, but in the end result,
Came out
that's what he
great.
kept because it felt more natural than what was
Yeah.
written or what was planned. So sometimes those are the things I think we overlook. But
Yeah. Well,
you know,
in theater, for example, too, because I do a lot of theater. And like you said, when you go out on the stage and you're singing a song or whatever role you're doing, that's it. You do it, it's done. You can't say, okay, cut, let's go back, let's restart the scene, everybody reset because you have a full audience. And versus film, but at the same time, you have to think that everybody there is your audience. You're spending their time. You might then put like, add extra time, an extra hour or two on set, and by the end of the day most people, really want to go home or hit the buffet and enjoy their night.
wait a minute. They want to hit the what?
Happy
Buffet.
birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday to you.
This
I
was like
celebrate my
one.
birthday all
That
year.
was like one of her 10 birthdays that we celebrated this summer at buffets. So yeah, we really do love buffets and celebrating.
Buffets
Heck
and
yeah.
fast food, yeah.
We did it multiple.
So just jumping back into the makeup thing, what is the biggest misconception people have about makeup artists who work for film or TV?
I would think that maybe people feel like, oh, they think they could do my makeup better than I can, and that makeup artists are just laying on a coat and they really don't know what they're doing when makeup is more in depth. Like when you're trying to cover up something on somebody like a scar or rosacea or just even like sunburn, because when you're on set sometimes people get sunburned. You have to still blend the shades and make sure that you're covering it up well. It's also a lot of like setup. And then I know the last set because I did so many different things, but a lot of the times when makeup artists are on set, there's a lot of downtime that they're sitting and waiting in between. So then people feel like, oh, they're not doing anything all day. Like they did my makeup
No.
and now they're done for the day. But that's not true because you have to like touch people up, make sure that they're like not wiping their makeup off, they're eating on set, then you have to retouch everything up.
It's a whole people don't realize there's a whole continuity aspect of makeup artists on set and how important that is to a film. Like without a makeup artist, like things like you just mentioned, you know how many times people touch their face? They just in this episode, we've probably all touched our face at least once. You had people like
Oh
Lisa.
yeah, I'm wiping my face like left and right. I'm so
Yeah,
hot in
Lisa
this
would be
room.
slapping the living shit out of you at this point with that brush. She'd be like,
Or if you have
Cut
to
it out.
like cry on set, or you cry because of the
oh my
pressure,
God, yeah.
you have to then go back and touch everything up. And then sometimes, like
Yeah.
Charles was saying, you have to really make sure you're matching because, for example, on our last set, one of the main actresses had a bruise on her eye, and the bruise was on her eye for many, many scenes. So many, many weekends we had to make sure that we were matching the shading of this bruise and also making sure it was becoming more intense in the beginning and then shading back as it started to fade away to make it look more natural.
And the challenge here for the makeup artist was the fact that we weren't filming in chronological order,
Hmm.
forward or backward. We were filming out of sequence. So,
Yeah.
it might be really dark today, it might be light tomorrow, and then a couple weeks from now it's even darker. Because that's like how we filmed so out of sequence. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of like documentation, a lot of photos you have to go by, and storing where we are next and planning. So a lot of that comes into play. But that's only part of the challenge, because makeup was only one of the hats you wore.
Hmm.
And that's like, what did you find the hardest transition was between roles on set? Was it more of emotionally or just practicality?
I think it was like in between. I'd be doing maybe one thing and then have to run to get my makeup to do another thing. Or I'd have a fanny pack to be like, oh, time to touch this up. Okay, now I'm acting now. Oh, I'm in the scene, but I have to do my makeup and the other person's makeup. And then looking at my lines. Or also in between makeup and also relating to the actors, being that I helped to cast a lot of them. So it was starting to like relate to them. And I would say like after the first week of knowing everyone, everybody really became really close on this set. I would say this was probably the closest people I've become on a set that we've worked on in the last like 10 years, because we spent so much time together.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was also, besides that, if you were going to different locations and say you needed less people to be there, I might have to wait back. And then I get like a flag or like a call being like, hey, we need you. Can you bring the hairspray? Or can you do this? Or can you grab that? But I would say, other than that, everything was easy. There were a couple days that like setting up the makeup is usually because I have a lot of stuff. So like Benny would help me with my chairs and my multiple bags. And then like being indoors or outdoors, you have to make sure that you're not putting like makeup in direct sunlight, and that you're just like paying attention to like the same shade of lipstick that you might be using on someone. Because like you said, if you switch it to something else in between scenes, it's a noticeable thing. Because I've seen it happen on like the biggest film sets, that you're watching a movie and you're like, that person did not have red lipsticks on like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's the little things that is really most important. I gotta say, about all the positions, even with myself, one of the most challenging things for me is being a part of the casting process.
Yeah.
And no matter what position I hold, I think of being a part of the casting process, though it has one of the most rewarding experiences, because you guys got to see these characters on the day that they were super nervous blossom into something great by the end. And it's going to be even more translucent or amazing, transcending, I should say, when you see them on the big screen at the premiere, knowing that you saw them really meek, walking in for the very first time to their auditions. But I will say it's very challenging to direct people that you were like in, I don't know, like a part of the process of selecting them.
Yeah, I think like that was interesting, because you watch, like you said, everyone come in with, and it's more interesting to be on the other side of the audition, because then you're thinking, okay, in their shoes. Like I know, like when I audition, I get nervous, so I try to just be very smiley and give them like a warm and welcoming face, and just like ask them a couple questions to kind of like calm them down. And I know we did let them like some of the actors reset or do it again, or take a break and come back in, which is good, because sometimes you just need to get like one audition out of your system and then you're good to go. Especially in a room of strangers, like 6 people that you don't know, and a camera.
I gotta say, that's one thing. I've seen so many actors, they go to different auditions all over, and they said that was probably one of the more intimidating ones I've ever been to. Walking in a room with a whole panel of people staring at me with like cameras from the left and right stage and spotlights on me. Like I felt like I was already in the movie, but being judged at the same time. I forget who it was. I don't remember which actor it was. He said he felt like if he bombed his audition, there would be the floor would open up and he would get sucked down like a vent. And I was like, well, now that you got me thinking,
You're like, that's a good idea.
Just like that. I just got another little clip I would like to show, real quick.
people's makeup because everybody has their own perspective of themselves. So you have to really hone in on their natural beauty, cover things up. The most challenging was definitely the special effects. That's something I really haven't done a lot of. So I kind of literally Googled, got the stuff, went with it. Stefan helped me a lot and kind of just took every production day by day. We get on set and was like, okay, what do we have to do today? And just execute it, get it done. Try to be quick, but you know, make everyone look great.
How you feeling today, Lisa?
I'm good. We're getting everyone, I wouldn't say beautiful because they're going to be dead, but we're doing what we can.
No,
So much fun.
that is true. The special effects was hard because I ended up getting the special effects putty, but like the first day I had to do special effects, I don't think I realized I had to. So then I was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then I like looked up online. I was like, okay, mix a little flour, a little Vaseline, a little this, a little that, and then I shade matched it. And then I was like, okay, we're gonna put a scar on Benny. We're gonna just make it work. And then it did work, thankfully. Or we were going to take a trip somewhere, like to one of the stores and see what else we could find. Or just give you a real, like, cut, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just cut them up. You know, sometimes
Is there anything that you took away from the projects that you did that you were able to repurpose it and reincorporate it into the next project you did?
For sure, I would say on this set, a lot of the background when I wasn't doing like makeup or just actually being in the moment of the scenes, I did take a lot of like camera angles and just like different things that you guys were doing when you were directing that I found to be really interesting. And I know like I've always said like maybe in the future I'd like to like direct something, or I always have a lot of like good ideas. But I know on set, like I was able to go to Charles and say, hey, I was just wondering, this might be good to add to this, just to ask him his opinion. And then sometimes he used things or said, oh, that's a good idea. Or other times, you know, but he was always very open to like everybody's opinion for the most part. To an extent, like not like every single scene, but if there was something. And then there was like one scene that I remember we needed, I actually ended up not being there, but we used to have our weekly calls. And we needed like a hospital bed and like a hospital setup. And I think I was like, oh, why don't we use Richard's garage? Because they were like gonna climb the bed up these like stairs in this old, like very beautiful old vintagey antique house. But I was like, if you guys are gonna climb that bed up there, I don't think you're gonna get it back down.
I thank you for that suggestion because me and Richard were the ones.
To set up the,
yeah, they were. I was going in there. They were building. Like I came in the one day, they started building the hospital. Thanks. See, like
yeah.
when I tell you, Afro Benny, he also wears multiple hats. He's not just a production manager. They literally built a fucking hospital.
Hey, we all did that. I was like, wow, this really looks like a hospital room.
Yeah, and you want to
Yeah.
know something? I've seen some of the movie, and that scene actually looks like a hospital.
No, it does.
I
Yeah.
I could
I'm
picture
happy.
in my head already when we were setting it up, and by the end of it, I was like, this is legit.
People don't realize the stuff that you can do creatively if you really think outside of the box. And like, you know, we always think of like stuff like as a 360, you know, like, oh, this doesn't look right because I could see the ceiling or I could see the floor. How many movies have you seen the ceiling of the floor or what's behind the camera? Very
There you
few.
go.
Not
Yeah.
many.
They pick and choose what you see from what angle. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
some of them, if they have the budget, they can do whatever they want. But for the most part, a lot of those big blockbuster movies you see are green screen. There's nothing even there. They're sitting in a room with nothing. But it just shows you like the amount of work
Yeah.
that goes into independent productions and the different things that you have to learn.
No, it's
Just-
so true. Like
Totally.
even I always liked interior design and like stage setting. So like in theater and other sets I've worked on, usually if like we need an idea for something, I'm usually good at being like, oh, I could make that. Or I'll throw some cardboard together or some styrofoam or cut it apart and use a lot of hot glue to make like many different things. Like Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, so I always come up with different costumes and like try to keep like the spirit alive and make different things. But I know that is really good when you're on set because sometimes you might need something or at least something that might look like something. And then if someone's good at making stuff, even if like you have the base idea, then everybody can kind of run with it. Like, okay, that's a good starting point. And then what if we added this? Oh, this person has that. Let's add this. Let's add that. And then it really can bring like the set alive.
Hmm. So, like with all these different things that you're excited about and you do, what is a role? Because you talked a little bit about directing and filmmaking. Like, whoa, what other hats have you not worn that you'd like to snap on for the future?
So maybe directing or producing. I'm one of those people that can figure out, like when I'm watching like a movie or a TV show very early on, and I know a lot of people in communications and theater and different areas of the industry say this too, that when you're sitting and you're watching something and you can figure it out like right away. Sometimes I like when I can figure out, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, I like to watch a show when I'm really thrown off. So then I'm like, oh, it would have been so much better if maybe they went this way, like took the beginning concept and then turned it this way. Or maybe like the person at the end that was the killer. Oh, okay, but that was like the person we figured was. Why didn't they do something a little different or change it up? So I would say maybe directing. I did do a lot of wardrobe stuff in the last film too. Which in the past I've done like piecing things together and stuff like that. Maybe because I used to do a long time ago, maybe more like designing my own like outfits or pieces. I used to want to go to fashion school before I got on the communication path because I did want to be a TV talk show host, which you're never too old, you know?
Yeah, why not?
Didn't you used to work in the mall?
Oh, yes, I did. I've had many jobs. I worked in a store in the Palisades backstage, and they did like piercings, tattoos. They sold rock and roll clothing. So I used to like when I worked there, because I was always friends with the tattoo artist, I would be like, oh, what are you getting today? And because I'm very like artsy and creative, like I love to paint and like, do different like art projects. Not good at crocheting. That's the only thing. It's too much. It's too time consuming. But
Fun fact, me and Lisa knew each other a
long time ago. Yeah.
But we didn't know. Because she worked in the mall and I worked in the mall across from her, and I used to go to this that I talked to her friend.
No, it's true.
It's such a small world. You never know.
I've had many jobs along the way. Like previously, like I've always done like theater and acting. I do like kids parties, like face painting and like balloon animals. I do decor, chocolates for parties. Like at the last event, I did like a balloon arch. So I like to do very like crafty things. But I think it would be interesting, like getting back to your question, like directing or like even maybe writing like a play or maybe a book. I don't know. I always wanted to maybe get into voiceovers too, like doing animation for like kid shows and stuff, because all of my friends that have children always say, oh, they're always like so captivated by your voice, like when you're like talking to them and whatnot. So maybe something like that.
The one thing is, a lot of people are intrigued by drama, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there are people that are extremely attracted to positivity. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've known you for years is you always come with a positive mindset. It could be the most stressful thing. And I can admit to everyone here and the audience that will watch, mm-hmm. I tend not to be the most positive person in the moment. I get stressed out. And until I get over that hurdle of whatever I'm trying to accomplish, I'm in that mode of like fight or flight. Like, I need to finish this. You're like, yeah, the world's crashing behind you,
like sunshine or Saturn.
But the thing is, that's without people like that, it's so much harder to get out of your those stressful situations. So you need that balance. So someone that's wearing multiple hats on your team, that is a positive person, that can get the best of the people, that is a wonderful thing. I mean, that's a great thing. You're a great communicator and listener,
Mm-hmm.
and that's awesome on set, and awesome in any type of work that you have. I don't know. That's just my
Yeah, because you really never know, like when you talk to someone, you speak to them and you ask them about their story, or maybe they're in a bad mood that day, and you just think like, oh, they're in a bad mood. But then like once you kind of like try to like ask them why they're in a bad mood without generally asking them, and then they open up, it usually deflates the situation a little bit. And then
Mhm.
they're like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as the day,
She
because some people
always-
will just hold it in.
Lisa always came to set the same positive attitude. She wasn't mopey. If it was mopey, she'd probably tell a joke, or she'd get her. Another thing she did is, like she said before, she can go to different people on the set and then make them laugh for a little bit, just to make it a little better. She was really good at that.
Oh
well,
yeah,
that's
comedy.
big.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do comedy.
You
Hey,
never know. Sky's the limit.
I have lots of jokes up my sleeve, but
try
There's
it.
there's a lot of people out there that when they communicate, like, they don't say what's on their mind, and
Yeah.
you often say what's on your mind. Good, bad, indifferent. You let people know, hey, like, I got something I want to say. Say it. And
yeah, just
those
say
are the
it.
type of thing, like when you're dealing with new people that come from different backgrounds and they come on set for the very first time, it's great to have someone like that that's an icebreaker, that's able to,
I'm the
create that.
Titanic. I slam right into the ice.
It is. And it's interesting because, like I said, you take that in, you love to talk to people, you like to get to know them and
Yeah.
their stories. So there's this last clip I want to show. I feel like showcases your nature, if that makes sense, a little bit.
Now I'm gonna get sad. So drug addiction does affect everyone in some way or another.
Oh.
Family members, friends, we've all lost someone. So, as a lot of people have said, try to be that positive light when you can. Try not to be judgmental. And try to just, help people when you can. And think about, if you were in their shoes, how you can really help them. Because some people, they don't want help, but they really need help to find the light at the end of the tunnel. So, I hope you guys out there really, really enjoy the movie.
Now you got
That
me
was
doing
pretty
the
good
Hallmark.
stuff.
The Hallmark.
Very emotional. I can't wait till people see the full length
Yeah.
documentary that I'm working on, and all the wonderful work that you put in to Where the High Ends and all the other productions.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very exciting year for all of us on this podcast, and we're excited to see what comes next, Lisa.
I know. You never know with me, because I am I'm a bag of tricks. Like sometimes I'll do stuff like I'll be in the Macy's Day Parade, or I'll be on a TV show doing something, or one time I was the wind under a car in a car commercial. I thought they were calling me to be on set, and they were like, because I was a PA, and they said, "Oh, no, can you lay under the car and just hold the cardboard like this to make the trees
wind.
move in the background?" I knew I was there. Did anybody else? No, but you have to get those experience to go
But
along the way.
did you get paid?
I think so. I think so. Infomercials, different things. So you have
Lisa
to
was the
go
wind.
along the way.
That's awesome. So
Wind
do you have any
beneath
last wind beneath my wings? Do you have any lasting affirmations you like to leave before the end of the episode?
Well, I could say that whoever's out there watching, when you think that there's something maybe you can't do, or there's something you may want to try, you should just try it and go for it. Maybe go down a mountain skiing because you got inspired by the Olympics, but make sure you have a helmet on. Or maybe try to take up a new craft. Or maybe try to go to that restaurant you want to go to, because you might as well, because like they say, you only are here once. So you might as well enjoy it.
And hell, If you
Yeah.
have to, do them all at once and wear multiple hats.
Yeah. Try a
Don't-
gizzy, a gizzard.
If
Gizzy.
you do everything all at once, you're saving more time. You know what I mean? Like instead of doing one topic, you could do 10 different topics. It's like you're spreading yourself all over. It's just like wear those hats, guys. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Hats,
Yeah.
wigs, whatever floats your boat, but just go
Yep.
ahead and do it.
Absolutely. All right, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course.
Till next time.
Until next time.
Good seeing you. Hope you're doing well.
All right, guys. It was
Right.
a wonderful episode with Lisa Marie. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Episode 8 was a blast for us, and we cannot wait to show you what's in store for episode 9. And I need you guys to do
Man.
two things. Like, subscribe, and please share if
If you care.
All right, guys, let's dive on in.